Major Gilbert Parkhurst has been in charge in New Bedford for, well, a number of years now. How many years?
10 years now.
10
we've been
years.
Here, and we're heading on our 11th.
Welcome, Major.
Good morning.
Joining Major Parkhurst is Steve Bouley, a volunteer at the Salvation Army, but I get the sense we should call you much more than a volunteer. You are a mover and a shaker there. And, Steve, you're in charge of something called the Serve-A-Thon. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Also joining these two gentlemen, George Bailey, who is in charge of Mobile Ministries. He's also a neighbor of mine.
Yes.
Right around the corner
That's
there.
right.
Well, good day to all of you. First of all, Major, let's talk about the Serve-A-Thon. What is it?
Well, just over 3 years ago, Steve approached me and said, Major, he had observed some of the things that we were doing, serving folks in need in our community out in the cold weather. And he said he wanted to come alongside and do something to help us and to help Mobile Ministries together. So he said, we'd like to do a Serve-A-Thon. And I said, a what? I'm not quite sure what that was. So over the last couple of years, I've learned and our volunteers have learned, Serve-A-Thon is an opportunity for individuals in the community to partner with the Salvation Army so that we can do something for those in need in the community, but also do something good for the community. What we do is we look for volunteers and to help us and businesses and individuals to sponsor, and we pick projects in the community to better the community. So not only does it benefit the Salvation Army, Mobile Ministries, but it also benefits the greater New Bedford community. One of the projects we did last year, we painted a fence down in Hazelwood Park that needed painting. This year, we'll be doing the other side of that fence. Some folks say, well, why didn't you do it all at once? It's over 900 feet long, the fence, so so we figured 2 years would be good.
Steve Bouley, when is the Serve-A-Thon scheduled?
It's scheduled for September 9th. You know, the weather's just talks to you about, okay, get your shovel or broom and get busy because it's a nice fall time. But September 9th is the date that we're targeting. There's some flexibility about other events taking place at other dates, but September 9th is the Serve-A-Thon date.
And you're appearing here to make people aware and hopefully get some people involved. How can they get involved?
Well, yeah, this phase of things, I mean, this is all year long. We converse with people about what we've done and what we hope to do. So we're really in a promotional recruiting season right now, and obviously we're grateful to WBSM to help us along those lines. And so we have meetings at the Salvation Army every second Monday of the month. From 6 to 7:30, so people are welcome to come to find out in a more personal and intimate way what we're doing. And then we have a public meeting in July where the mayor comes, or he has in the past, at the Salvation Army. We have a cookout, and then we explain to people all of the events that are taking place and the opportunities that individuals have to do something that's unique. For example, we have a lady who's going to swim and get people to sponsor her by the lap. We've got somebody jumping out of an airplane. We've got people riding bicycles. We've got somebody cleaning a yard for someone. And like a walk-a-thon, people get sponsored. But in this case, people don't just walk somewhere. They go somewhere with a specific purpose to benefit the spot that they're in, and at the same time get people to sponsor them for doing so, and businesses as well. Last year we raised about $42,000 doing that, which is kind of remarkable for the short period of time that the Serve-A-Thon's been on the scene. But we find that if people have just 2 seconds of really desiring to understand what it is really is the exceptional thon because we're all about doing something good for others as opposed to just doing something good, which is always great. But to do something good for others, it kicks it up into another dimension, and it's exciting because there's life to it.
A couple of years the Serve-A-Thon has been involved, and you say you raised quite a bit of money last year. What was the turnout been like? Have people been excited to take part? I don't know, the weather may have played a role in some of this, but what's the turnout been like?
Well, wonderful. We have people that are working at Gifts to Give, sorting clothes and fixing toys. That's one aspect of it. We have a farm in Dartmouth, the YMCA farm, and people harvest. Last year we did a renovation of a historic park in Fairhaven, and as the Major mentioned, we painted a 970-foot fence along Brock Avenue in New Bedford, and we call that the Mayor's Project. As a matter of fact, he was there painting with us, and I think the Major had the best observation because he looked down the fence at one time, and there were 45 people painting, and you couldn't tell who was who. There was board members, there were people off the street, there were clients, and the mayor too. And everybody was just dressed to come help and to work, not to posture or to get votes with roof racks. I mean, you know, so it was a splendid observation on the Major's part to see that that's really the heart of it, is to have people helping, and the city benefited also, and we raised quite a bit of funds as along the way.
You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. My name's Jim Phillips, and with me are guests from the Salvation Army and also Mobile Ministries. George Bailey heads up the Mobile Ministries program, and I know you may have been involved in Serve-A-Thon as well in some way, but tell folks briefly what the Mobile Ministries is.
Mobile Ministries used to be the Mobile Blows and Fishes, how people may know it already. But what happened there actually quickly is that they enacted a clause in their contract that they said that they're changing their vision, and in Austin, Texas, where it's based, they started a $12 million 20-acre project to help the homeless, and so they said, okay, we're changing our vision from going around the country, so please send your truck back or buy us out. So since our ministry was growing very well, we decided to buy them out. We started our own 501c3 that actually started officially beginning of this year.
Is it still run out of St. Paul's?
Yes, it does. It's the Ministry of St. Paul's, yes.
Okay, very good. So how has that gone? I think some folks may have scratched their heads about it initially. Gee, these people going to take advantage of it? The homeless going to visit this truck? The fact is they have, and they'll continue to visit the truck, won't they?
Oh, they do. That's for sure, in growing numbers, actually. It's not just the homeless that we do service the homeless specifically, but there's a lot of needy people out there too, so they tend to come along also, depending on where the truck goes. And
one thing I learned about this program is not just food. There is clothing, there's applications available if somebody needs, some drastic help, some serious help. And the person on the truck is kind of knowledgeable about this whole, what services are available to people. So that's a pretty valuable piece of hardware there going around the city.
Right. The volunteers themselves, we have a number of volunteers, and they don't necessarily know the ins and outs and the workings of it, but the team leaders should, that do head up the teams of the different locations that we go to. And we're working with groups around the city, especially through Homeless Service Providers Network, HSPN, that coordinates with other social agencies that help the people and give them different things like bus passes and IDs and so on and so forth. So we're on the street conduit for the people who need help.
Major Parkhurst, besides the Serve-A-Thon, what else are you doing at Salvation Army? I know you're doing a lot. I know you do a lot around the holidays. What are some of the things you're looking at?
Well, some of the things, what's the nice thing with the Serve-A-Thon is that helps to benefit us, especially during the winter months. We have a truck that we partner with Mobile Ministries. We use that in our parking lot. We do coffee, hot chocolate, soup every Saturday throughout the winter, so that helps to support the funding for that. We have a meal program on Sundays and Wednesdays. We have a food pantry Monday through Friday that folks come in. And what's nice is in the last year and a half, we started increasing our youth programs. We have a new music program, and what's nice with that is the kids will come in. We have volunteers that come in and teach them music. And we just recently had a Star Search competition with the Salvation Armies in Massachusetts. And one of our young people from that they won that competition. So in a week and a half, they'll be going to New York to compete against many other Salvation Armies. So, those are some of the things that are happening at the Salvation Army.
Do you need volunteers this time of the year, Major?
Yes, we do. It's amazing at Christmas time and Thanksgiving how many volunteers you have come in to help. This time of year, sometimes people may forget a little bit that there's still folks that are coming in every day for help. Recently, the letter carriers did a big food drive for us. We have all that food that needs to be sorted and distributed to individuals. So if anybody wants to volunteer, they can stop in, see Connie in our office, and she can put them to work somewhere. Yep.
Steve Bouley, how is the list of work sites, I'll call them, Serve-A-Thon sites, compiled? You say you have a meeting on Monday to work on items like that. Have you got a list already?
Oh, yeah, we have. Somebody said that, the word Serve-A-Thon is like different, and it's a challenge for people to understand, and it doesn't travel on its own. So this time we're promoting the idea of, doing something good for others, which is really what a Serve-A-Thon does. And we have, I would call the stake part of it is the the 3 towns in the city. New Bedford, we have a project there. We have a project in Acushnet, Dartmouth, and Fairhaven. And then there's what we call the treasure chest, which is unique efforts on people's parts based on their own gift packages, i.e. the lady jumping out of an airplane or a bike ride, or Ken Hartnett, the former editor of the newspaper, is coordinating a talent show at the Unitarian Church. And then there's also going to be a yard sale at the Oaks in the north end of the city. So these things have been add-ins to the primary things that we've relied on, the 3 town projects and the city project. That is really where we're focusing in on as the meat of it. But the sizzle and the aroma is all part of these other things. We have a young lady who, like I mentioned, is going to swim and have people sponsor her by the lap. And we've got people who run and have people sponsor them to do that. So there's a freedom in there. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is when you watch the Salvation Army and Mobile Ministries seamlessly cooperate together to lend a loving hand to people who are the least, last, lost, and lowest among us, and they do it tenaciously, consistently, conscientiously, and compassionately. We just come alongside to help fund what they do, because money just doesn't fall out of the sky. It comes from people's hearts and minds and wallets. And so we're asking businesses to sponsor us, and they've been remarkable to do that. We're asking individuals to participate, to get people to sponsor them. People can sponsor themselves. There's a host of things that people can choose. There's a buffet of being able to help and to get your own gift package on the table so that the community benefits. But unless you're dealing with the least, last, lost, and lowest of us, you're not dealing with the community in total. You're making believe. And so we know it's a challenge. We know that the axis of the world won't change from what we're doing, but we are making a difference. And if there's an old saying about, you can tell somebody by the people they hang around with. I'd like right now for somebody to take a picture of us in here so I could take credit for being with you guys, and especially these 2 here, because it's an honor to help them, because I have a front row seat in the way they behave, and they're not perfect, but they're more than admirable, and it's an honor for me to be helpful.
One more time on the details of the Serve-A-Thon, the date, how people can get involved, where do they go to do that? Tell us.
Okay, well, I think the main idea is our website. The name Lift in Love comes from these 2 ministries, the way they lift and love people. You can't do it otherwise. It's lift-in-love.org. If you go there, you'll see the schedules that we have, the current information, which is loaded with all of the things that we're planning, all of the projects, the people that are sponsoring us. Liftinlove.org with hyphens in between the words because it's all connected. It's kind of a funny little thing, but it has to be connected, otherwise it'll fall apart. And then we also have a Lift in Love Facebook page. So that's where you can really zoom in. But you can call the Salvation Army to help. We have a meeting this June 12th at the Salvation Army. Please come to that. And we have a public meeting in July 27th at 6 o'clock, there's a cookout. And, if you're really excited, we'll even, mustard up your hot dog and, relish that. So, we're excited about that. I'm not sure if I was complete with all that.
George Bailey, how can people get involved if they want to help Mobile Ministries?
Well, right now we're still working on our website, a new one, but you can always contact St. Paul's Church. It's 884 Kempton Street, or you could call me. I'll give a number to call, 508-998-1120, if you'd like to learn more. Be glad to talk to you.
Very good. Major Gilbert Parkhurst, any final thoughts?
Well, we want to thank Steve for all the hard work that he's put into this. Again,
Yes.
when he first approached me, I had no clue what it was, but to see how it's developed in first year was they raised $20,000. This year, past year was just over $40,000. And the community has been such a great support to us with this. So anybody that would like to help, they can contact us at the Salvation Army, 508-997-6561, and get their hands dirty.
Very good. Salvation Army and Mobile Ministries, they truly do God's work. Our thanks to both Major Gilbert Parkhurst and Steve Bouley from the Salvation Army, and also George Bailey from Mobile Ministries.